All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Serial Killers Podcast. My name's Glenn Spillman, and I have a couple of special guests in the studio today. When I say studio, I mean we are in the basement of Carl's mom's house, chilling out like Wayne and Garth, like I always say. So we've got special guest Carl O'Leary in the
What's
house,
up, guys?
and he is going to be playing the role of Lamont in the first episode, Serial Killers Called the Beginning. And Lamont is actually one of the four main characters in the entire series. And we also got Tommy in the house.
My cat.
Tommy is Carl's cat. And for you cat lovers out there, you're going to love Carl for this one. Carl saved this cat from imminent death. And he actually saved the cat from death's door. This cat is pretty stocky. He looks like if a cat could look like a pit bull. That's what this cat is. Nice and beefy. It used to be like a skeleton, and he's a real healthy looking cat is what I'm trying to say. And Carl saved its life. So all you cat lovers out there, you can be like, oh, now, because it's awesome. Anyway, the interview today is specifically concentrated on Carl, as I've told everybody through each podcast episode, and especially on the podcast.
Always gonna come see you.
What's it called? Platform, the Facebook platform. I tell you guys, I'm going to be interviewing these actors, every single one of them, and we're going to dive deeper, a little bit into their character, not too much, because I don't want to give too much away. But mainly, this is to showcase the actor, the person, the Carl, the O'Leary. Now, we just, if you guys have listened to the other podcast that we dropped earlier, it was about Jennifer Thurman. And for those of you listening to that, we kind of dove into her. It's kind of like a first date. We got to know her a little bit, so you guys not only know who she is as a person, but who she's going to be, what role she's playing. So Serial Killers, for what you guys that are just tuning in don't know about, it's a very, very personal series that Carl and I are doing. It's very personal, especially for me, because it's built on my life, people that I know or have known or have been around at some point in my life. So 95% of what you guys see in each of these film episodes is real. The characters are real. The dialogue is real. The stuff that happens is real. So that's what it's personal for me. It's therapy for me, because I've been through a lot in my life as well, and I came out on the other side. And I'm making these series because I want to help people that have been involved in, maybe sex trafficking or rape or been molested or something like this. I know those are all touchy subjects, but it's all real shit that happened in my life. It happened in the characters' lives in real life, and it happens in the world today. So it's not like I'm making a movie just to be a jackhole and be like, oh, hey, throw this scene in there because I think it'll be cool. No, it's because it's real. So first off, I always want to touch a little bit on that before I get into the interview. So Carl, and I don't have, now for Jennifer, I had a list of questions. I had 25 questions that I asked her. For Carl, I don't have any questions written down because, number one, I've known Carl for over 10 years. He was actually in the very first film that I wrote, produced, and was my directorial debut. It's called Hush Little Baby, and it's a horror short, and that was me getting to know Carl back then. I've known him over the years. I know a lot about him, but you guys don't know about him. So basically, Carl, we're going to just start out, and we're going to talk about, your beginnings of an actor, the who, what, when, where, how, and why.
Yeah.
So let's flash back all the way to wherever it began, the little thought in your brain that says, you know what, acting looks pretty cool. I want to do that. So tell us about that.
I mean, I've wanted to be an actor ever since I've watched a film, When I watch people play roles and create these characters that seem like just pure magic to me, I wanted to do that. I wanted to capture that essence and be like, how can I be like this person? How can I bring to life a character and make them so real and visceral? So I've always, from that point on, probably really young on, I'm terrible with dates. But as soon
Kind of
as
guesstimate
Oh,
about
Jesus.
how ballpark figure. 6, 7, 10, 11.
Man, I mean, I saw Star Wars and I was over the moon with that movie. I was a young
All right,
kid.
so
I
you were
was-
not even a teenager yet.
No.
All
I
right,
was
so the
really
bug
young.
bit you early. Awesome. I love to hear that.
Yeah, super early. Like, that was probably the earliest time where I was really influenced by film and wanting to be an actor. But, I was playing out the Star Wars characters and pretending I was them. And it gradually progressed into playing other characters. And I would watch a movie and I'd try to remember the lines that they were saying and mimic them.
Okay.
And maybe come up with a different personality or a different take on what they were doing and
All right.
perform the same scene in a different way.
Cool.
So that's kind of how I started to realize it wasn't. I mean, I did that for fun. So
Right.
That's when I realized that I wanted to be an actor.
Speaking of Star Wars, a funny little nugget that I don't even think you know about me. I saw Star Wars as well.
Yeah.
I had the original. I still have it. I'm sure it's worth a lot of money now.
Oh, well, definitely.
I have the original Star Wars poster that I got from the movie theater. And as a kid, I used to look at that because it had Princess Leia on it.
Yeah.
And I was in love with her.
Oh,
But
I
as a
think
kid,
everybody was.
I cried myself to sleep at night because I loved her.
Oh, my
and
goodness.
there was the weird. And even as an adult, I'm like, how did I even
She was
think
so
that?
provocative in there, especially with that outfit she wore when Jabba the Hutt
Yeah.
had her chained up. My God, that's like every kid's fantasy. Well, okay, no, not kid.
Right,
but,
right,
I
yeah.
don't want to get into that.
Naughty little boy.
It's every person's fantasy that is a man to see that kind of thing.
All right, so
It's not
now
gonna do any good.
fast forward. You did role play. You did all this stuff, which is cool, by the way.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. And when was your very first? I'll say acting gig, not necessarily job, but just like the acting to where you actually were acting, whether it was a school play,
Yeah.
a movie. What was your first one?
Well, if you can call it that, I did a talent show when
Okay.
I was very young.
Sure.
Probably about 10, somewhere around there.
10?
Yeah. I may be younger. I
Okay.
don't know. It's like I said, I'm not very good with dates and everything. But I was playing Johnny Be Good, a Johnny Be Good song to a Back to the Future scene.
Oh,
I was
okay.
pretending to be Marty McFly dancing on the stage.
Oh, the duck walk.
Pretending
Okay.
to do the guitar while the music was playing. And now, obviously, I wasn't playing the guitar. That would have been cool. But no, I was mimicking, and I was in character, and I was trying to be a version of Marty McFly. And everyone was going nuts in the audience and having a blast. And I just kind of realized something from that point on, like, I'm an entertainer.
Right
I
on.
like to entertain, and my family knew that. But that's just kind of how it dawned, I think, was from that talent show.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
And it just, and then I do various things. Like there was another time where I worked for my aunt. She was doing a safety video, a school safety video,
Okay.
and I played a drug dealer
Uh-huh.
at like 12 or 14, I can't remember. And I was trying to sell drugs to kids on the playground, and it was like a way of avoiding that kind of scenario. And then there was also a safety video where I was just a kid playing on the playground. They told you how to be careful on the playground and not injure yourself.
Oh.
Be respectful and things like that. So that was another debut for me, I guess, sort of, where I did play somewhat of a character as a drug dealer at a young age.
All right.
Something your mom could be proud of. And it just kind of blossomed from there. As I went through life, I tried various different roles growing up. Eventually, it wasn't until I got older where I really started to jump into like Facebook and do casting through there, or set
Right.
casting, which is where I got some of my gigs. Some through friends, some through school. I went to college, went to ARC, American River College, and I got a few classes there, mainly theater.
Right.
Learned improv. That was very important, so I can think on the fly. And I had one acting class, acting for the camera.
Mm-hmm.
So that taught me some of film techniques and stuff like that. But a lot of the stuff that I've learned is like what you said before. It wasn't in this podcast, but the last podcast. I learned on set. I learned the real stuff on set.
Right.
Now, I did learn techniques and stuff, but you can't learn what goes on set unless you're actually on set. It's
Right.
a whole nother dynamic.
Right.
So I've had various things that I've done throughout life. I've acted as a performer in Halloween. Like I was a volunteer for haunted houses, and I played Jason. I played Jeepers Creepers. I played a clown. I played a zombie. I played the Wolfman, the classic one.
All right.
And they had me put prosthetics on and everything. I got into it. I howled and everything. You know, I did a whole spiel, scared the crap everywhere. I howled throughout the entire building. And they thought there was like a wolf in there or something. Or like, what the hell is that? Or they thought it was done over the speakers. But it was just my voice carrying throughout the building.
So you really got into it then?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I really got into it, man. But that's how it was. Whenever I played a character or I did a character, I tried to embody it. I tried to become it. So if I was a wolf, I'd snarl. I'd move around like a wolf. I'd pounce like a wolf. I'd get on almost fours. I'd look around for prey. I'd pretend like I'm going to eat them.
Nice.
And scout for them. I would stare at them, or I would do something animalistic to where if you looked at me, I would look like a wolf that's going to attack you. And I'd get that response from you, like, I got to run. You know, or whatever it is, you know, pee yourself, whatever.
All right. So would you say that, I know you and I have talked about this several different times.
Yeah.
Would you consider yourself a method actor?
No, because I don't get into character and stay in character the entire time.
Okay.
It's like when you call action, I drop into that mindset of the role. I just let it embody me. I get possessed by it. It's something my teacher told me in school. Get possessed by your character.
Okay.
So when I try to let go of who Carl is, and I think of who the character I'm playing is, and I just let it take over.
Okay.
But then once you say cut, it's back to me again.
So it's like a switch.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So like bing, bing. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Like a flick of a switch.
All right. So I want to kind of take a step back because you were talking about,
Sure.
you know, classes and whatnot, and you and I
Yeah.
both have taken classes with this individual. They're no longer with us, sadly, but Charlie Holiday.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I saw when I did a thing in downtown Sacramento on that boat. He was there, and it was like a improv thing where you come up with a skit and everything. I was terrible, by the way. And he even called me out on it. He's like, that was awful. It's like, that was a terrible version of whatever. I forget what we were doing for the improv skit, but he
Right.
did not like it at all. He's you know, and he got me on it. I'm like, why would you say that? You know?
I was about to ask you that question.
He was just very forward.
Now, how did that make you? Now there are some
I
people.
hated him at first.
Okay, all right.
I was ticked off. I was like, how dare you, sir? You know? It's like I'm showing my chops, and it was my first time really being around a crowd doing improv like that, so I was kind of vulnerable, and yeah, I was a bit irritated.
Did it discourage you at all?
From acting or just from
wanting to act again?
No, it didn't discourage me from acting, but it did kind of make me hesitant in working with him.
Okay.
So I didn't have the great experience that most people did with Charlie Holiday, but apparently he's a sweet soul. So
No, he was a cool guy.
I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't want to taint his experience.
So, and I know you've done several things, and we've talked about in exhaustion with, you know, in the acting world and whatnot. Like back in the day, I mean, because networking is a huge thing, but back in the day, you always, you know, as an actor, you should have somewhere close to you, whether it's in your car or whatever,
Right.
a business card, a headshot, at least those two things. So, as far as like, and I bring this up, and I will bring it up in probably every interview because everybody's different.
Right.
What is your thought process about A, networking, and B, using social media nowadays to promote yourself as an actor?
Oh, I think it's very important. You should definitely use social media to reach out to people, to show your own ideas. If you have an idea, you have social media to expose that idea and get recognition from other people, and then also in turn network with other people and see if there's like-minded individuals that want to work with you and like what you're doing.
Right.
So if you're not getting any work auditioning. No one wants to audition you. You have a chance to show your voice, your own personality, your own piece of work, and get other people to go, hey, I like what you're doing. Can I work with you? I know XYZ, you know. How about we get together and we start working on this project together, and then say so on and so forth with other people.
All right. So as far as I'm going to put this in. I have a point to make, but I'm going to put this in perspective. Now, if you're a musician of any sort, what makes you a better musician?
Well, experience and practice. I would
Practice.
say.
That's the word I'm looking for. Practice. Now let's bring acting into that world.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think, now some actors that I know, and I know a lot of them,
Yeah.
they go from job to job to job, no big deal.
Right.
But in between those jobs, they don't go to classes. Some of them don't even believe in classes. They don't, I guess, hone their skill. But me, because I know you,
Yeah.
and I probably know what you're going to say, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Sure. Yeah. Go ahead.
What is your
process
as far as like practicing, and what is your thought process as far as honing your skill?
Well, yeah, you should definitely go to school and hone your skill, but if you can also learn in the field as well. So if you're taking projects and you're working on things, you're going to get experience regardless. You're going to be working on how to portray a character. You're probably going to be reading about how to portray a character or get reference into that. So you are going to be in turn working on honing your skills. But as far as like learning from professionals, you'd have to go to school, you have to go online.
Right.
Actually doing master class so I can constantly increase my skill level, which I'm probably never going to feel like I'm fully...
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it's the best way to be, is to always think you can always improve.
Yeah.
So
right.
You're just constantly improving yourself.
Exactly.
And growing. But that just depends on the person. If you want to go to school or you want to learn in the field,
yeah, subjective.
Get your feet wet and get experience, and make sure that you're actually enjoying what you're doing. You're not doing it for money. You're doing it for the love of
the craft
theater or film, whatever it is you're doing. And not to get sucked into that world that's like, oh, well, I just want to make money. Well, that's not what it's about.
If you want to make money, get a 9-to-5 job, you know?
Yeah, you want passion to be the thing that drives you, because that's where you're going to put in all the work.
Right. So, and we're going to kind of bounce around here and there over the course of this interview, because I got so many questions bouncing in my head that as far as, like, you know, you and I have done this, and we've talked about it and whatnot, and I asked you, and you've asked me, you know, what is comfortable as an actor, that the roles that you take that are comfortable or easy to do. Now, you brought up, and you asked me what time, and I told you, hey, I could never do comedy because I don't think I'm funny. And then you explained it to me in a way that, and you gave me a scenario, and I'm like, okay, I would try that, because you did tell me, on the flip side of that coin, I couldn't act in XYZ, and I give you a scenario, and after I painted the picture, you were like, oh, okay, I would try that. But before, you were like, nope, I wouldn't do it. But after, so kind of explain to people, for you personally, when you're looking at different roles, kind of what pops out at you?
The thing that really does it for me is the story and the character.
Okay.
If I'm invested in who this character is, if I could see a picture being drawn in my head and I feel like I could play that role, then that's going to make me want to jump into it.
All right.
But if I'm not really feeling anything, I'm not getting anything from it, and it's not going anywhere, I either A, have to find a way to draw myself into that character, or B, I have to move on and find something that's actually more attractive.
So if you have to feel that you have to draw that character in, does that feel forced to you? And so if it feels forced, you're kind of like, yeah, if it feels forced to me, then I don't think I could fully embody this character and give a good performance.
It depends on, when I'm reading the lines, how I feel when I'm actually doing the character out loud.
Okay.
And if I don't feel like I can bring justice to him, or I just don't feel like I can connect, then I might go, role might not be for me. It might be for someone who better connects to it. And I will still try, and I'll still work on it. But if I'm not getting anywhere with the role, I might just say, That's not for me.
All
And
right.
I've read roles before where I'm like, I don't know if I should play this character. I think someone would do it justice better than me.
Okay. All right. So you didn't not want to play the role because you were afraid of what people might think of you
No,
as that. You were just like, well, it's a good role. I could probably do it, but hey, this guy over here I know could do it. Is that what you're kind of saying?
kind of, or pass the torch to someone else who would better portray the character.
Okay. All right. So let's jump back to over 10 years ago
Okay.
when you applied for Hush Little Baby.
Yeah.
Now you'll have to refresh my memory on this one because I don't remember the casting process or even how I cast you. But I knew that when I knew is when I
Yeah.
cast you. And so how did you find out about that? And how did we end up?
I think I may have seen it either on Satcasting or Facebook, and then I did a video
Yeah.
on either YouTube or some social media platform, and I sent it out, and I think that you were just like, you liked it. And,
Yeah.
And that was, the rest was history. And I was like, sweet, I was excited.
Yeah. And for those that you want to see Hush Little Baby, you can go to seller13films.com, and I've got a works button that I've some of the short films that I've done. And if you want to see Carl in action, you go ahead to seller13films.com and watch like 17 minutes long. But it was a fun experience.
Yeah.
It was a great experience. So, and it was, it was and considered a horror movie, and that's my main genre as a filmmaker and an actor. I love, absolutely 100% unequivocally love horror. That's what I am. That's my mainstay. So, and I already know the answer to this, but they don't.
Yeah.
What is your favorite genre and why?
Well, I think it has to be horror.
Okay.
Horror and comedy, though. Both of those are the two that go close together. And the reason horror is because I grew up on horror. I love horror. I don't know, maybe there's something wrong with me, but I love the violence in there. I like the jokes. I like the bloody gore and just the fantasy of the character too, the creation of the monster. I love monsters.
Yeah.
So be able to see a monster come to life and tell a story about it, and it's fictional. I love it to make it seem real and everything. But I grew up reading comic books and learning about superheroes and stuff like that, and there was monsters in there too. So I've always had this fascination with monsters and horror, and been a big fan of it since I was a kid. I even watched horror cartoons, when I was younger. So it's always been around horror, and then comedy comes from just always loving to laugh and being able to make people laugh. I get joy out of that. But then watching someone that makes me laugh, I enjoy that too. I just like to be, I guess, around comedy.
So we've talked about this before, and the person that comes to mind, or the character I should say, that embodies both horror and comedy, if I had to think of a character, what immediately comes to mind is Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
Because of some of the lines that he says and some of the things, to me, it makes me laugh. It's kind of
That's what I call a wet dream. Yeah. Yeah, he has, like, the most iconic lines in there, and they're always funny, they always hit, but he's a sadistic bastard, let's be real.
Yeah.
He's a child molester, and he's a evil kid killer, rapist type person. So...
All right, so let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Since you brought that, and Freddy Krueger is what that is, I have a scene, or I should say we have a scene in the end of episode 1 that deals with a little bit of that subject matter. Why do you think, because we've had a lot of actors be upset about that scene and didn't want to play, why do you think people think that is bad, but when Freddy Krueger is the exact same thing, why do you think that he's more welcome and beloved by people? It's the same damn thing.
Probably because people are more familiar with him, and it's more comfortable. Everyone's okay with the idea of Freddy Krueger because he's been around for a long time.
Right.
But I bet you when he first came out, it was the same scenario. It's probably people were afraid to talk about him. They're worried that it would be they'd be shunned and stuff like that. The communities wouldn't accept them, whatever. And once we become that way, I feel like it'll be the same thing. We'll be like Freddy Krueger. It'll just be
Yeah.
another thing.
I think once people, first off, listen to the first podcast of why I did, or we did, and are doing this series, and two, I think once they see the first episode and kind of understand it more, then they'll be like, oh, okay, I get it now. Yeah, I want to see episode 2 now. I want to see where these guys are going with it.
Yeah.
And I know that you've played many roles throughout your career and done many things, but let's talk about Lamont.
Okay.
And Lamont is like I said, one of the 4 main characters in this series.
Mm-hmm.
So when we first started talking about Lamont, you wanted to know who Lamont was.
Right.
What made you tell me I want to play Lamont?
Because I felt like I could relate to Lamont. Some
Okay.
of the things that happened to him in his life was similar to mine, and I was like, I can correlate that. I can totally relate to some of these things because they've happened to me in life, and I want to play a character like that where I can express that easily
Right.
and showcase who I am versus who he is, and make him more realistic because he is technically real.
So do you think that the familiarity and the parallels that you and Lamont have, do you think that in your estimation and in your mind you could be like, oh dude, I could easily flip that switch on and I become Lamont like that?
Yes, I think I can go there because I've had those experiences, and I can instantly see where he's coming from and take myself back to that point in time where I can relate to that specific situation and get into that mode.
Okay, so this leads me to my other question.
Yeah.
With some of the dialogue that's in there and some of the scenes that are in there and scenarios,
Right.
does that trigger you at all?
Yeah, well, you know, when I read some of the stuff of Lamont's stuff, it reminds me of my past, and I'm like, holy shit, this reminds me of the time when I was in high school,
Right,
or this reminds me of the time when I had a bully picking on me all the time, you know?
right.
When I start to come across things that are familiar to me, then I can feel like I can relate to the guy, therefore I can play the guy. And when that's possible, it makes me feel like it's going to be an easier go around versus something I've never done or experienced. Then I'm like, well, I don't know, I can't relate to this person, I've never done that, I've never been around that kind of, I've never had that kind of exposure, so it's different.
Right. So this is kind of a role to where you're like, hey, dude, Lamont is me. I'm Lamont. Hey, this is a piece of cake. I'm going to do it. I'm going to crush it. And before you even say one line,
Yeah.
you're already in love with Lamont.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's perfect, because that's kind of how I want. I desire for all of the actors and actresses, when they pick a character and they try out for the character, I want them to at least, hopefully, a little piece of the character relate to the character. But,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, I've had that, you know, because with some of the scenarios that we will be dealing with and talking about throughout the series, it's like I said earlier before we even started the podcast, I got people coming out of the woodwork. They'll be like, oh my God, dude, that happened to me. Oh man, I'm glad that you're doing this because you've got a message to say. And
Yeah.
and it just when I hear stuff like that, it just makes more validation of what we are doing is the right thing to do.
Absolutely.
You know, because there are some things that,
This is going to be cathartic for some people.
Yeah,
you know? They're gonna
absolutely.
find solace in it.
absolutely. I mean, I've got this one actress that is like, it's like I was telling you guys earlier. When I started talking to her, I said to her, and I quote, I said, "Holy shit, you are a parallel to this character. I mean, the things that you're telling me is the exact thing." And then when I told her something about the character, she said, "Oh my God, that happened to me too." And so it's nice to see that there are, you know, not all of the actors, but some of the actors are like, oh yeah, man, that's me. That I could relate to that because of. And I'm not saying you have to relate in order to be cast for future episodes. I'm just saying that it's just a cool little, you know, addition. if you will.
It's better if you can connect with the
Yeah, if you can
character.
connect with the character, absolutely. And it's like, and I've talked, when I interviewed Jennifer, and I asked her this question. I'm going to ask you the same exact question because
Sure.
I have a lot of actors refusing to do roles because they're like, well, hey, man, I don't want people to think of me as this because
Yeah.
no, I don't want to. So,
Right.
what do you, as an actor that has
Yeah.
played many different roles,
Uh-huh.
and you know what I've written and what you've written and what we've written,
Yeah.
and that we are going to put in future episodes, what is your words of wisdom for that thought process?
Well, I'd say just be open-minded, and don't think that you're going to be put in some sort of snuff film or that people are going to see you as this sick and twisted individual. You're playing a character.
Right?
Just know that you're playing a character. It's not who you are. You don't have to be that person when you're off camera.
Exactly.
You're just playing a part that is going to tell a story that helps explain the entire film or series that you're doing. That's really all you're doing. You're not going to try to embody who that is to the point where that's now your identity.
Right.
Because that's not the case. It's only for that scene. Or
Right.
scenes.
Or, yeah, for that matter.
Like playing a video game.
Yeah, it's like when you're watching a movie, playing a video game, whatever, you're just taking on if you're playing a video game, you're playing a character.
Right.
Now, you're not actually this character.
Right.
But in the game, you are, and you're going on this pursuit to kill monsters or whatever,
Right.
zombies, what have you. Maybe you're a man killer and you're killing a bunch of people that's on your hit list. You don't do that in real life.
Right.
It's entertainment, it's fun, and you're playing a character. Same thing with being a character in a film or series.
Right.
You're just playing that part until it's done.
Now, I want to ask you this.
Yeah.
Now, throughout your acting career, have you ever had, like, if you tell someone, oh, man, I want to be an actor, that's what I want to do for a job, I want to
Right.
do that because, for whatever your reasoning is, have you ever had somebody say, you know what, that's a 1 in a million shot, no, you're going to be this and that, you're going to be a failure,
Oh,
you need to
yeah.
get a 9-to-5 job. Have you ever had that discouragement in your life? And if so,
Of course.
what happened?
Well, I've been told several times that I wasn't funny enough, I wasn't good enough, I wasn't talented enough. All these negative, just give up while you're at it and work at a regular job type scenarios. And I would just ignore them all the time. I'd be like, whatever, I'm not going to listen to this. It's a defeatist attitude. I'm going to be myself, and I'm going to do what I love to do, regardless of what people think. And I'm going to be respectful, but at the same time, I'm not going to let people tell me what I can do and what I can't do.
Right. Now, I've had the same thing. And I you know what? I've never listened to anybody. I never let it go into my head, be like, you know what? You're right, man. Because
Right.
I've been told by many, and I say many, because like I said, I grew up in this life. I started acting when I was 8 years old. I'm from Hollywood. I was in Hollywood at the thick of things when good was happening, bad was happening, shenanigans were happening. A lot of this stuff that you heard about naughty in Hollywood, well, I was involved in that. It was being done to me. But back then, I thought it was normal and natural. And then I was like, well, if I say anything, then I may not get a job because that's what they told me. They said, hey, if you say anything, I'll blacklist you. So I kept my mouth shut. But that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this series, because I'm not keeping my mouth shut anymore.
There you go.
And
And a lot of people are talking out now in
yeah,
Hollywood.
absolutely. So a lot of people that say, oh, you're not good enough, you're not this, number one, I think they're jealous.
Yeah.
Number two, I think maybe they think you're competition.
Yep.
So if they can discourage you to not do it, then maybe they can, dude, we were talking about a famous director before the show. On his first day of class, his professor said, you're not going to be good enough. You're never going to do anything in this industry. And this director has gone on to make one of the most iconic horror films ever. One of the main character is anyone around the world would know who it is. I mean, he's gone on. He's done kind of comedy type films. He's done horror, a lot of horror. And you guys will, and he got Jamie Lee Curtis her start. I mean, hell, Robert Englund on the set of this film was one of the people who spread leaves around because they didn't have enough leaves, so then he would pick them up, bag them up, then spread them around again. So the parallel between, and my thing is, and I'm sure you think the same thing, don't listen to people.
No, yeah, absolutely not. Don't listen to them. You can't let people control you and tell you what to do, because then you're allowing your life to be controlled by someone and guided by them, by their misconception, and to be someone you're completely not. And you're going to lose yourself.
Right. But here's the warning that I always tell every actor ever that I ever meet. Do not go into acting just to make money. Do not go into acting the main reason, because I got a lot of people saying, I had this one guy say, hey, I want you to put me into, I want you to do X, Y, Z, because I asked him why. He goes, because I want to be famous. That's the wrong reason, because you don't have passion for the art. And acting is 100% an art form. As far as whether people think you're good or not, that's subjective. Whether you should take a role, that's subjective. But now there is 100%, if you want to make a living as an actor, oh, absolutely. If you want to move to LA, I tell people this all the time. I have a friend, she's a housewife, and she makes between $60,000 and $80,000 a year, and it's all she does. This is all she does is extra work. She might be an extra on a movie. She may or may not have one little speaking line. She's been on screen quite a bit. She's been a featured extra. She's been in a shite ton of soap operas. Mm-hmm. She's a seat filler here and there, and she's a housewife. That's all she does. But I mean, if you want to make money, there's jobs in LA. Every single day there's posts. Hey man, late casting notice. We need somebody XYZ. And it pays, I mean, when you have SAG films, I mean, minimum payment, you're going to make almost a couple $100 a day. And if you do that every day, that's $4,000 a month without even trying. But if it's like a normal job. But if you want like, oh, I got to have a speaking role, I got to this and that, well, you're in it for the wrong reasons. But if you're in it for the passion, which I know you are.
Absolutely.
And other people that I've talked to, and including myself, I mean, if we could do it for a living, well, shit, yeah, I would love to do that. I would love to do that.
Easily.
But to get paid to do what I love, yes, absolutely.
It's a bonus. Icing on the cake.
Yeah. So, as a person that has been engulfed into the inception of this, and I'll be as nice as I can say it. I won't go there like I normally do with the innuendos.
All right.
But with the inception that we have done and planted the seed with serial killers, and people have heard my side of things. What is your side of things when it comes to the characters that are written, the scenes that are written, and the message that we're trying to send? So from your words, tell the people what you embody as serial killers.
Well, when I think about serial killers, I think about a story of characters that have similar things to your life and my life, and possibly people that we've known.
Right.
And then basically taking fiction and blending that with reality to make a show about these two characters, and then the rest of the characters who eventually start to grow in the series.
Right.
But to kind of, I don't want to like give away things.
Yeah.
But the direction we're going, I feel like, is unique and probably not really done before, maybe. And we're trying to. How do I put it in words without giving away anything? That's the tricky part.
I guess
you want an overview of what I think of serial killers, or like
kind of, because there have been some pushback from mainly actors and actresses that why the hell would you write that? That's this and that.
It's a story about characters, and it's showing what really exists in the world.
Exactly.
All these potential characters in here who are serial killers are based on real people
Right.
and real things that happen. So we're kind of exposing that while also telling our side with giving a little bit of fiction in there in some places.
Right.
And making it very, cinematic, I guess you would say. But at the same time, we're trying to enlighten people on what's actually going on out there, outside in the world. And what the characters go through is real shit. It's not fake.
Right.
This is as real as it's gonna get, and we don't want to sugarcoat it.
So, and I'm glad you said that, because I'm going to capitalize on that, and I'm going to add to it. Meaning, if you see, like, there's this series on I think it's Netflix or something. They got the series about Dahmer and the Menendez brothers. And Ed Gein.
Right.
Now,
That was a good one too.
those are good shows, 100%. And some of that stuff did happen, 100%. But they added a lot of, quote, Hollywood stuff to it, and they watered it down. So what we are doing is we are bringing a true story, real life stuff, but we're not throwing a bunch of Hollywood into it. We are telling a raw story in the rawest form that you can get, and that's making people uncomfortable. Some people, not everybody, because whenever I get one person telling me I'm doing something wrong, I'm getting 10 people to say, I'm glad you're doing it.
Yeah, it's real life, though. I mean, you can't water down
No.
real life. If you want real, actual things that happen in life, then you gotta show it as it is. You can't just go, oh, well, maybe choose different words. Don't say motherfucker. Say you, watch it, you. You're not gonna get the same experience.
No.
And you're not gonna get a feel for what we're trying to create if we water it down constantly. You gotta hear the dark side. To really understand where we're going.
So if they made a movie about Charles Manson and they made it all nicey, people would be like, he wasn't like that. He was a freaking nutcase.
Exactly.
So it's like when, I keep saying this in every podcast, but one of the actresses turned down a role because I said cocksucker too much. Well, the character that's saying that was their favorite word to say. So they said it all the time. I'm trying to make this as real as possible. So slicing someone's throat and ripping out their throat doesn't bother you, but the word cocksucker does, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But I'm not sorry. Because this is what I'm saying, and it's what Carl's saying. We're making this as real as possible to get the
visceral feel.
The visceral feel of what we're doing. And see, Carl, like I said, he's playing Lamont, and there's four main characters in this entire series. There's Lamont, there's Dallas, there's Raven, there's Morgan. The entire thing is built around them, and there's, of course, other characters sprinkled in that absolutely are real people, but it's the story of mainly Dallas is the main character, and it's all wrapped around him in his life and whatnot. And we spoon feed you guys. We do not reveal. I mean, I had a person read my script and they were, pissing and moaning about, well, you didn't reveal enough. Well, I don't want to reveal enough.
Yeah.
This is a series. This isn't a one-stop shop. I'm going to spoon feed you guys and introduce you guys a little bit at a time, because if you throw everything out at once, you just you lost your audience.
Yeah.
You lost the whole point of the entire
There's
series.
Nothing new to discover. You know everything now.
Yeah.
On board now.
So when you're in playing all of these characters, and you know exactly what happens because we've written it, and we're already into season 2, and we're expanding on things. So when you are, and there are plenty of people on our Facebook group page, and I've already got some of them say, hey man, what do you got going on in episode 2? What can I be involved? See, the buzz is getting out there, and I get more and more people asking me questions. I mean, the entire thing is cast right now, but the buzz is out there, and I appreciate you guys coming along and being a part of this journey. Yeah. But at the very now let's fast forward to the last episode, the last scene, the last line, fade to black. I mean, don't say anything or give anything away. The only thing I want you to say is, in your personal hopes, what do you hope that everyone that has seen the entire series gets out of what we just did?
Well, I can't sum it up in one word, but I will say realism.
Yeah.
For one, they understand they have more of a profound understanding of what actually goes on in the world.
Yeah.
Two, they can understand where these characters are coming from and feel a compassion for them.
Right.
As well as be interested in the story.
Right.
Come away with some sort of magic. Like, we created something we've never felt or seen before.
Right.
Took them on a journey. So I want them to experience anything and everything they can with all their senses and enjoy the experience and also be informed.
Perfect, dude. I couldn't have wrote that better myself. That is awesome. So, at the end of every podcast that I ever do with people that I interview, no matter what medium it is, and I say this every single time, but I because I genuinely, one, want to know your thoughts, and number two, what I want other people to know your thoughts. So anything at all, doesn't have to do with the movie or acting or anything.
Right.
What is your parting words of wisdom on whatever you want it to be for people out there listening?
Well, I always like to tell people to never give up. Even
Right
when
on.
you feel like you've got nothing left to give, or you're just you've got no vision, you got no drive, you just want to throw in the towel. Don't. Give yourself some time to recover. Try to find some inspiration to get you motivated again. Maybe go to the people that inspired you in the first place and try to find out a way to be re-inspired. Or just simply give yourself a break. Sit back and wait for someone to give you that inspiration again. Because I guarantee you, if you love it, you will come back to it.
Right
Don't
on.
let other people stop you from doing what you love.
There you go, man. Well, that ends our session today, folks. We've got other actors coming up that we're going to be interviewing. And as always, if you want to follow the Facebook page group, just look up Serial Killers Movie, and it'll be on there. And join our group, interact with us, ask us questions. I'm on there every single day, and I post 5 to 10 plus times a day, and I interact with everybody. So if you want to get to know more about us as filmmakers, actors, whatever, or about the movie or the series, jump on and ask. But anyway, folks, thanks for tuning in. We certainly do appreciate it. Have a wonderful day. Peace out.
See you guys.